Yeah, I had all this kind of scroll here with the, but I don't think I'm gonna use it because
Scroll?
so I don't know where to start now. I think it'll be a bit different. Okay, I think this is a story of God pursuing me for like since I was born, and and it took me so long to realize that. But he was so patient, knowing everything was going to go through my life. He knew everything. And he knew the only way to touch my heart and to make me believe that he loved me. I think that was his plan, to convince me that he loved me. And it's not easy. And he knew how stubborn I was and, the things that I used to believe and how proud I was and everything. So, okay, I'll just give you I was born in Brazil. I'm 31 years old, so I was 79. My childhood was pretty good. I had my mom got divorced when I was 2 years old, so I had a good relationship with my father. He was alcoholic. I don't know if you guys know that, but I didn't spend a lot of time with him, so that didn't create a lot of problems to me. But I had a very good mom, very loving, all the love language she had, all the love language, I think it's one of, I just know a few people that has like all the love, 5 love. She had everything, and I had a very good childhood. After 12 years old, I went to Catholic school, and so 12 years old, I started questioning, all that religion. I was very compliant, so I used to follow all the religion, everything, trying to please God when I was a child. And 12 years old, I would start questioning everything, like, oh, this is not right. By adolescence, I started, I gave up about, following any religion. And I just, started to have fun and looking for pleasure. I was a pleasure seeker for, as a lot of people, So, okay, so that, pretty much what happened, and when I was 21 years old, I came to the United States. I got a working visa to work for a ski resort, and I came here. I was very rebellious at the time, just as a 20 years old guy, and when I came here, I had a girlfriend. And she got pregnant. We're dating just for 1 month, and she got pregnant. And she was from Brazil too, so we didn't know what to do. I was going to, I was going to college in Brazil. I had, I used to live in a nice place, nice family, everything. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if it was supposed to stay here or just, go back to Brazil. And what should I do? And she wasn't even from the same city that I was. We met here, so. That changed my life. I had a lot of plans, and I just decided to stay here and try to, I don't know, to survive, as a family. Because I didn't want, we both agreed we didn't want her to abort, the baby. And so, okay, so my daughter was born. And it was very hard, just trying to survive for many years. And there was something inside of me, looking for God. Everything was so hard, but I was searching for God. So I started going to a church. What was it's, I don't know if you guys know that in Brazil we're very spiritual, and there's a church in Brazil that you believe in reincarnation, but you kind of believe in Jesus. That was a church that I started going to, but most of the churches in Brazil, that same kind of church, they don't study the Bible. They just, believe in Jesus. They have their own thing, but they don't study the Bible. And I started to study the Bible at that church. For some reason, they're studying the Bible. And then, and I forgot to tell something. When I came to the United States, a week, that was the first week, a friend came to me and he was like, you know what you need to be saved? And I was like, I don't know, I just got to be good, God's going to accept me. And he was, no, you have to believe what God, what Jesus did for you. And that concept was very new for me. And I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. I was kind of skeptical at the time, but I was like, kind of, this is kind of good, and that seed was planted. Okay, so I just want to like years, it was 10 years ago. So when I started going to the church, started studying the Bible, and started looking for God, and I started just the Bible itself was so like amazing. I was like, wow, how nobody told me about the Bible, A lot of people told me about the Bible, but I was kind of like, why didn't get the book and start reading by myself? Because it's pretty amazing, It makes sense. I'm starting to believe that. Okay, it took like 2 years for me to kind of understand what was, kind of going on. I started going to, I had to move to a different city, and I had to drive in work in Boca. So I was living in Port St. Lucie. I was working in Boca. And so I had to drive a lot, and I started to listen to Christian radio. Okay, so all that, I believe in Jesus. But the thing was, at the time, I was believing the theology. I was like, wow, this is great theology, but I didn't have a relationship with God. So, okay. And I had, by that time I had my son, and we were married, just like a regular family, I wasn't happy, but it looked good from outside. And we started going to church, me and my ex-wife, my two, my kids. But there was something missing, I was just I was in love with Christianity religion. I wasn't in love with God, at the time. So there was something missing. And took something kind of difficult for me to start knowing God and really going after Him and just asking, why God, who are you? Just searching for God. And that was in 2008. My wife started working, going to work. She never worked before. She was just home wife, and she started finding her identity in her work. And it didn't take long for her to come to me and say, I'm a divorce. And I never loved her, My relationship wasn't very good with my wife, but for some reason, I think because I was here by myself, she was my only family. I didn't have family here. My family was all in Brazil. I didn't know it was get so hurt. It was I was hurt pretty bad. So because of that, that brokenness, I started looking for God. And He started revealing Himself to me. He started bringing people to minister to me. I had Vinny working for me at the time, and I was getting busy at this hard time, so I need to hire extra, workers, and he told me about Grant. And Grant came. It was the perfect time. So it's ministering to me and telling about God. It's knowing God as a Father, and even my identity started to change. And that was, and I started noticing how God was pursuing me and how He was bringing people to minister to me, to teach me about Him. And I started, liking God for the first time, loving God, Before I was just trying to please God, and I was afraid of God. I was trying to do everything right so He could accept me. And I started observing that God was after me. He was He knew where I was. He knew everything was going to happen, and He was organizing everything. So when I got to that point, He could share His love to me to other people. So He was using Grant to love me. He was using Vinny. He was using all the guys. And still today, He used Rob and He used many other people to show His love to me. So and because of that, I started loving God. I started, wow, you're good. You love me. You go after me. And I saw and He started very, very gentle to reveal my sin, because at the time I was kind of I was a good guy, I guess, I didn't do anything wrong, and okay, Jesus died for me. That's great, because I'm a good guy. So, and that was my vision, of Jesus. And then He helped me to realize that He needed to die for you, because there was no other way around. It's not because you didn't deserve it. And He started to reveal that to me, and I was able to repent for the first time. So I think that was my when I was really saved. That wasn't a long time ago. I think it was after really I met Grant, and probably a year ago. Through a lot of pain of my divorce. So I don't know, I just lost my, my scroll, the only thing I can say, my life, I still have a lot of needs, emotional needs and stuff, but I can tell that it's good. I can tell that I trust Him now. And even through, I couldn't believe after 10 years, like with marriage and kids, like your wife just like, I'm not happy, I'm leaving. And that was very traumatic, but He was able to be very patient with me. I even thought about killing myself. He was right, I didn't have the courage to do that. But I thought about it. And because I didn't have any hope. And God started like bringing hope to me. And I remember like just reading Psalms, I was like, oh, David, this guy went through like simple stuff, he's really like suffering there. And I was able to relate to that. And just Psalm 53, I guess, is that one? No. It says, which one is that? Yeah. And I could feel, and Jesus was saying, through David, oh God, my heart, it melts, and I remember through that pain, I felt the rejection of my ex-wife, the separation, the rejection, I felt this, my heart, I don't know if anybody here felt that pain before, I never felt it before. It was like my heart was like melting, it was like burning like wax. And when I was reading that psalm, I was like, wow, I know what he felt. Because I felt that. And then I started like loving Jesus, like, wow, he decided to feel that way, He had an option not to go through that pain. And he went, because he loved us. And I started like to loving Jesus more because I was like suffering, but he was like faithful just to heal my heart and just to, it's been like, I think like 9 months, 10 months now after my divorce, and I'm healed. I was able to forgive my wife, and that through, it was just, it's hard to explain. I was like, God wants to forgive, but at the same time, and after, it took me a while, but God could, work in my heart and help me to forgive and love her and desire her to be blessed. Because I was like, oh, okay, I forgive her, but I didn't want her to be blessed, So, and now for the first time I pray for her, I want her to be blessed. And just, I love her like in a different way. And this is amazing. God gave me opportunity. It's like now I see when people hurt you, this is really an opportunity that God's giving you to learn how to forgive. So I think this is the reason that every one of us here was hurt one day, and this is like sometimes, this is bad, but this is sometimes it's kind of like a blessing, because that gives you an opportunity to learn how to forgive. And so this is what happened now, I'm pretty much very happy, and I trust Him. There are things, that my life is not perfect, there's still like a lot of things. But I can tell something that is very, that I can see now. Now, there are like, a lot of things are missing in my life. And I remember when I was 19 years old, I didn't have Jesus. And I was in Brazil, I had my car, I used to live in a nice place, nice university, a lot of friends, I had girlfriends, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And now I have none of that. And I'm happy,